Across the UK, online and on DAB.
We are
Talk Radio. Give it some lip.
Talk Radio.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Ash. Good evening, dear listener. It's Iain Lee. Want to give us a call? Then you're welcome to 0344 499 1000. Anyone can call in tonight. We had new and newish callers yesterday. Tonight, anybody can call in. We'll have a look through the papers. We'll have a chat. We'll see what we can find. It's going to be a laid-back Thursday evening.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Open Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. In his sleep, and there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Hey, about love. Hey, Jolene, 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 Jolene.
Open Gangnam Style.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just 'cause you can.
Open Gangnam Style.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just 'cause you choice of men that I could never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you and whatever you decide to do, Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
Hey, about love. Hey,
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
hey,
I'm begging of you, please. I'm begging of you, please.
Open Gangnam Style.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just 'cause you can.
Open Gangnam Style.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him even though you
우리는 너, 그 위에 나는 너. Baby, baby, 나는 more 좀 아는 너. 우리는 너, 그 위에 나는 너. Baby, baby, 나는 more 좀 아는 너. What I'm saying. 오빤 강남 스타일.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just 'cause you can.
오빤 강남 스타일.
Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. Please don't take him just 'cause you
Yep. Well,
오빤 강남 스타일.
that's had about 1,000 more listens on his SoundCloud page since yesterday. Well done, Johannes. Well done. Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. A phone-in show, unlike any other phone-in show, in that we're not going to sit here and talk about Brexit. We're not going to talk about Trump. We're not going to talk about white papers or any of that stuff. But you can call him with absolutely anything that you want to call in with. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. I should warn you, I feel absolutely terrible this evening. These new pills, man alive, it's psychedelic. I don't want to, bang on about it too much, but indulge me for 2 minutes. I'm on these new antidepressants. I'm off the citalopram and on the venlafaxine or something. I can never quite remember what it's called. And I've been on those for about 10 days and start off at a nice little 75 milligrams. And then after a week, up the dosage to 150. Flipping heck, I'm off my, I'm going to say it, I'm off my tits. To be completely blunt, honestly, I am as high as a kite, but not the good high as a kite. The high as a kite when your eyes are like bulging out of your head and you can't focus on a thought and your head is like bubbly. Now, to most of you, that will thankfully mean nothing. To some of you, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that will mean something. And it's like that. And I'm feeling absolutely rotten. I've got this, sweating like a pig, feel nauseous. My eyes are all over the shop. They're all, as my friend Scott would say, one is, going to the shops, the other one's coming back with the change. So, with that in mind, we were all hoping we could sneak off half an hour early tonight because we were going to interview Dave Mason from Traffic and, legendary guitarist and singer-songwriter. And we were kind of thinking, oh, good, because we'll record half-hour chat with him and then we'll play that at 12:30. And what that means is a little bit naughty, but because I'm not feeling too good, I can bunk off. Here comes a cup of tea. Thank you, Edward. Is the fan on? Can you put your hand up? Can you feel cool air coming out of that gap?
It feels cold.
Okay,
it's not flowing.
That is not flowing.
It's not. It's flowing a little bit.
Can we make it flow? I don't know, a lot. That would be awesome. Don't matter if we can't. But so we were hoping to speak to Dave Mason, and so at 7:30 we went downstairs to the studio to record an interview with Dave Mason, and at 7:50 we still hadn't spoken to Dave Mason. Now he'd gone off and played golf, or so I don't know what he'd done. And I'm not angry with Dave in the slightest. It's one of those things. Someone somewhere had miscommunicated, or he'd forgotten, or whatever. So hopefully we'll have him back next week. But what that means is I've got to do a full 3 hours, and I might throw up at any moment. Set your tape recorders to record, guys, because tonight could be the night I do a Charlie Wolf. Is it true? We played the clip a couple of weeks ago of Charlie Wolf collapsing on air. It's a brilliant clip. Absolutely brilliant clip. I love when radio goes wrong. And if you're in Nottingham and Birmingham, you'll be able to see my show, Iain Lee versus Radio, in April and June, at the Glee Clubs. I love it when radio goes wrong. But is it true, Keith, I'll come to you in a minute, is it true there is a clip of Charlie Wolf, it's really hard to follow a single thought, guys, so it's going to be a little bit more stream of consciousness than usual. Is it true there is a clip of Charlie Wolf doing the radio when a TV falls on his head? Is that true? Does that exist? I've had a few people mention it to me. And it rings a bell, but I'm wondering if the only reason it rings a bell is because so many people have told me about it. It's like, we all remember things as kids, but probably we don't remember them. We've just seen the photos enough and had the stories told to us enough that we think we remember them. So if anybody, and I know you, I know my audience, I know you guys is geeks. You guys are radio anoraks, as am I. It's not an insult, not a dig in the slightest. But, see, just for a second there, it just went. For a second, I was onto another thing. I was about to talk about a film. But so you guys will know if that clip, exists or not. I love it. I love bits of radio when it goes hideously wrong. And what I'm saying is, tonight could be one of those bits of radio. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Yes, Keith!
Oh, yeah. How's it going?
It's going terribly, Keith.
The reason I phoned straight away was because my sister recommended some, what I call is drugs.
Yes.
Prescription drugs.
Yes.
To me. And they're called amitriptyline, I think.
Oh, yes.
And, oh my God, they made me feel like I was completely spaced out.
Well, when you say she recommended them, a doctor would have to recommend them, wouldn't they?
Well, it's what we obviously both suffer from the same anxiety and.
That's an antipsychotic, isn't it?
Well, I don't know what it is, but we both suffer from the same sleepless panic attacks.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah.
She said, try these. They'll sort you out.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God, I couldn't even drive on them.
Well,
the doctor gave me these.
Well, hang on, did the doctor give them to you, or did she give you hers?
No, the doctor.
Okay.
I went to the doctor.
Good.
She said, ask for these. So I said, can I have these? She said, that's an old sort of medication. I said, it works for my sister. He said, okay, we'll give them a go.
You're allowed to go in and... hang on a second. You're allowed to go to your doctor and make requests? This doctor works like in an office, not in an alleyway or a car park.
No, a proper doctor.
Wow.
And he said he gave me them, and I was proper spaced out. And the next day I had a really important meeting due to work in London, and I was trying to drive with a client. And I couldn't even talk. I was like,
yeah.
What, I've been out all night? Or
venlafaxine is the one I'm on. How long, and 150 is a big dose. How long did you take yours for? 2 days?
I took them 2 days. I couldn't do it.
Well, this is the thing. And by the way, guys, we're talking openly and freely about mental health and medication. Always speak to your GP. Don't follow any of don't listen to us.
My sister did tell me to go to the GP.
Yeah, and don't listen to Keith's sister. I've got to say, always speak to your GP about this stuff. Don't follow any of the things that we're suggesting or doing.
Yeah.
But it does take about 3 weeks for these antipsychotics and these anti-anxiety and these anti-depression tablets. It takes about 3 weeks for it to kind of normalise.
Every time they give me so much heartburn that I end up literally giving up for heartburn.
Yeah,
and then they give me the heartburn tablets and I still get heartburn.
Yeah.
I think I can't cope after a few days. I start stabilising, I think, and I think, I can't cope with the heartburn. I can't eat nothing.
I was in bed because I've got these the venlafaxine I'm supposed to take in the morning, and then I'm supposed to take the mirtazapine at night, and that'll knock me out for 10 hours. But I couldn't take it last night, and I can't take it tonight because I have to get up really early with the kids, so I'll get about 4 hours sleep. And if I take a mirtazapine, I'll be out of it all day, and I won't be able to take the kids to school. So I was in bed last night, grinding my teeth. It was like the 90s. I was grinding my teeth and thinking, I must... the gurning. I said, the gurning has died down a bit, but I was on the tube the other day and I realised I was pulling that face and I thought, people are going to look at me. But I didn't care because it felt so nice. Yeah. It felt so nice.
That's the scary part.
What are you up to? So how are you dealing with your issues now then, Keith? What are you doing now?
Well, I didn't. This was my company. My company work things wouldn't go so well because I own a little company.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to manage it without no drugs, but I find it very hard. Like today was hard.
Yeah.
But then tomorrow might be better. And I think I'm really awful to my wife, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
She's a saint because she puts up with me.
What do you do that's so awful?
I'm just a bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. We can say that after 10 o'clock. It's all right. That's just
grumpy, and she says really lovely things. The other day she sent me, I had a board meeting, she sent me a lovely text while I was asleep, so I got it in the morning. But then I just get home and everything's too much. I just can't. Do you know what I mean? Compute it all, and there's too much going on.
It's nuts. I had the boys today. I've not seen them all week, and I was just snappy with them. Only I didn't have them for long. I took them to school, then I went back to bed, and then I picked them up from school and had them for an hour before I took them to their grandmother's. And I was just snappy with them, and you could see them kind of shrinking a bit. And I knew it was because I wasn't well, but that's not the person I want to be. I don't want to be snapping at my kids for no reason.
No, exactly. No.
We're not shouting at them, but I was just very short with them.
Yeah, snappy sauce crocodile, I call it.
Yeah.
And when I try to, what I try to do is compensate other ways. If I'm snappy, and then I'll try to, I think I'll go and buy him a bike or something.
You go and buy the gifts? Yeah. Isn't that funny?
I just go and buy a scooter on the way home.
Yeah.
Little brand new scooters.
I know exactly what you mean. I've been buying them video games and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course it's not... It doesn't make it's not a reparation, is it? It doesn't really make up for it. But then we're not well and stuff. So
things that make me happy though are when I'm worrying about money and stuff. I just spend money on the kids because I think, well, I've got a few quid in the bank at the moment. I might as well spend it because when it all goes wrong, I ain't gonna have it. I think I'll be able to spend it. Isn't
that funny as well? That's your mindset when it all goes wrong.
Yeah, that's always constant.
Yeah,
3 o'clock in the morning. This ain't going to keep going, this can go wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have the... Keith, you and me, isn't it funny how similar it is? Because I have the same stuff. I have exactly the same stuff going, well, the next figures are going to come in and they're going to be rubbish and we've been taken over, so they're going to boot me out and blah, 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 blah. It's always been all right, hasn't it? Money-wise.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I could go and work for someone and live... okay, but I've not worked for someone for a few years. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm a lower pay scale of company directors, but I'm doing okay. Yeah. But then I think where it's going to end, it's going to end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know exactly what you mean, man. I know exactly what you mean. Hang in there, brother.
Anyways.
Nice to talk to you, Keith. Thank you for that, mate.
It's been lovely, and thanks for your time.
No worries, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. 0344, oh, nice man. 0344 499 1000. Isn't it funny, these similar threads that all kind of link together in this kind of thing? We'll see how tonight's show goes, okay? James has warned me that it was quiet on the phone for his show and that it was quiet on the phone for George's show before that. Typical, just what we need. On a night when me stringing 3 sentences together is more of an effort than usual, the phones are going to be quiet. We'll see where we go. It might be fun. Pablo, I'll come to you in a minute. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
A lot, Pablo, in the papers today about Barry Gibb.
Barry Gibb.
I've never trusted Barry Gibb.
He's got those shifty eyes and that.
He's got what eyes? What eyes?
Shifty.
It sounded like... Okay. Yeah, no, I don't... Never trusted him. He's a very, very old man now, so I wonder why he's still going for the lion look.
Maybe he's just pride. No,
he's done one of those interviews, Piers Morgan life stories. He's done one of those, and it's in all the papers. Death scares me, so I intend to keep staying alive. But the best one, and it's not mentioned in all of the papers. Where is it? Hang on a minute. I wrote it down. Here we go. It's in the Mail. The Mail have got the best thing, because there's loads of double-page spreads about it, right? And I don't quite know why, because I don't get the Bee Gees. They had a couple of good songs in the 60s, but that was it, right? But listen to this. Barry Gibb refused... This is the Mail is the only one that's got this. Barry Gibb refused to discuss how he met his wife of 46 years in a TV interview because they were introduced by Jimmy Savile. The Bee Gees singer, 70, was left red-faced after he was asked the story behind his relationship with former beauty queen Linda Gray. Appearing on Piers Morgan's Life Stories, Gibb had an awkward exchange as he recalled how he first met his 17-year-old future bride at a recording of Top of the Pops in 1967. "There is a whole slew of stories behind all that. Some of them cannot be told," he said. Pushed for details, he added, No, because even the name would send a shudder through you." No, wouldn't you muppet? Jimmy Savile. No, shudder. Ooh.
I've got a lovely girl for you here, Barry.
Now then, we have got the Bee Gees and Bee Gees. I have got some lovely young ladies that you might like to peruse. I went off the Bee Gees when they stormed off of Clive Anderson. Do you remember that?
That was quite the turn.
It really was, and I lost respect for Barry and respect for Robin, but I got respect for Morris, because Morris stayed. Do you remember? Morris stayed and said, look, I'd really like to stick around and talk to you, but when they go, I have to go. And
we did the whole kind of like shrug with the hands up type of thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of like, I've just got to go with the brothers Gibb.
I've got to go with the brothers Gibb. And I just, that was the moment I thought, you humorless, not particularly talented. I tell you what we'll do. Let's do the Bee Gees 5 top songs. 0344 499 1000. Right.
Got one.
Go on.
I started the joke.
I started a joke. Yeah, okay. I would say, I just got to get a message to you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Go on, your turn.
Well, you've got to go with Night Fever, or is it Saturday Night Fever? Night Fever, isn't it?
Okay, yep, I'll give you that, although I disagree.
Just for foot tappery alone.
All right, I'm going to go with one of their more recent ones. You win again, so little time, we do nothing but compete.
Yeah.
That was good. And the video, wasn't the video for that set in space? No, it was a later one that was set in like a rotating cube. Anyway, go on, you got one, we can have one more.
I'm getting confused with Chipmunk songs, to be honest.
I'll tell you one you're trying to think of. The one about the coal mine collapsing.
Oh, that one.
Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Well, do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a You're the one doing the talking, Barry! You're not just talking, you're singing in a falsetto! You're gonna cause a bloody landslide!
Oh, that's it. It'll be a cave-in all over again. You get secondary tremors.
Okay, there we go. We've got 5 good Bee Gees songs. I started a joke. I just got to get a message to you. Night Fever, you win again in the mining song. Can we now find, and this is open to everybody listening this evening, can we now find any song, and it's got to be a top 10 hit, bleaker than a song about a coal mining disaster, released about the same time as that disaster in Wales? It wasn't about Abergavenny. It wasn't about what was it? Aberfan. It wasn't about. It wasn't about Aberfan, but it was released around about the same time.
Was it the Boomtown Rats? That was quite the tragedy it was based on. The Tell Me Why I Don't Like Mondays. The whole
that was based on that was based on a shooting in a school. I would still say a song about a coal mining cave-in is bleaker. They're both bleak, but I would say
fickle finger of fate type of thing, isn't it?
Let's write down bleak songs. All right. So
I've got an alternative phone in. That was one of the ones I was calling in about. Is When Pensioners Attack.
Yeah.
Because I've recently been the victim of a vehicular assault.
Go on. What happened?
Pensioner, we were stationary about to turn left in a T-junction.
Yes.
This pensioner takes quite a wide turn, stops very close to our car, and then assesses the situation, realises that she should continue on, which she shouldn't have done in any way, shape or form, and completely scratched the back of our car. And she may or may not have tried to do a runner, but I was shrieked out of the car by the missus, and I chased after. Although a bearded, bald man of about 6 foot chasing after a pensioner, I'm surprised she did stop, but she stopped, and I was all very calm and considerate, and made sure she was all right and all that, but she
there we
was on the road.
There we go. I'm going to say this. I'm not a particularly good driver. I've had a few crashes, right? I hereby vow I will never have another car crash as long as I live.
You better watch out for those pillars in the car parks.
Nope, that's it. I parked. There's a sign downstairs that says "Not parking." Not parking. And every night, because the car park here is tiny, you can get about 6 cars in. But when they've fenced off a bit and it says not parking, that means you can only get 5 in. Well, do you know what I did tonight? I moved the barriers out of the way, Pablo. I moved it out of the way and I reversed my car in it. I thought, not parking, not park on that.
You're like a maverick. You're like some sort of Judge Dredd of your own volition.
Yeah, kind of. It is like 20,000 AD. Yeah, very, very similar vibe going on there.
Mega City 1, here we come. Or Brit City 1, I believe. Brit City or...
You've lost me now, Pablo, but thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. I just don't trust Barry Gibb or any of the Bee Gees, really. There's a brilliant, I say brilliant, I mean awful. My friend bought it for me. It's like the 80s equivalent of R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet, but it's Barry Gibb, and I think it's just Barry Gibb. It's not the Bee Gees, no, because the Bee Gees the film is called Cucumber Castle, or the Sgt. Pepper movie. Ever seen that? There's a Barry Gibb film, like a music film, where he's in a car crash. Has anyone else ever seen this, or is it just me? He's in a car crash, and then he wakes up in a swimming pool, and the swimming pool is obviously limbo, and Sir Michael Hordern, the Paddington Bear man, is sort of like God, and it is the most pretentious, yet absolutely stunningly awful video thing. Anyone ever seen that? 0344 499 1000. Will, Jessica, stay there. Come to you after this.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Evening, Will.
Evening, Ian.
How are you doing, William?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, not brilliant, man. But you know, look, I've got 2 arms, I've got 2 legs, and that's about as good as it gets.
I'm interested to know how, is there an update on the scam situation?
Oh, well, the update we got for the phone scammer was that one of you, dear listeners, I don't know the name of the person, but that they contacted the company that owned that phone number, and the company deactivated the phone number. We then asked them, would they report the details of that phone number and who owned it to the police? They replied vaguely, we do sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
So the phone number was deactivated. I bet the phone company hasn't reported them to the police, and they've probably set up another one somewhere. Great work, guys.
Good work. Well, I'm just with my friend Tom at the minute in Manchester, and we just wanted to ring up to basically inquire. We wanted to know how many other early 20s, youngish listeners there are, and how many, are we a lone community, or is there...
Do you think it's mainly old farts that are listening to this rubbish?
Generally based on the calls that you receive, it seems to be at least the 35-plus region. And that's no criticism, that's just a pure analysation.
That one day when you're 43, you'll look back on 35 as being a wonderful... carefree, youthful time.
There's absolutely no criticism involved. I'm just purely...
Well, all right. Well, we can put that out there. 0344 499 1000. How many under 30s have we got? Why do you listen to this then, Will? Well, because it is, perceived as being like an old person's kind of thing, phone-in radio. It's not. It shouldn't be. But why do you listen then?
Well, me and Tom are both radio students, and I enjoy listening to this. I think it's a bit different, especially with your rhetoric of not entertaining the typical subject matters, whether it be Brexit or Trump or whatever.
Muslims!
And I think it's just something a bit different to indulge in. I think that's why we listen.
Is Tom real?
Tom is here.
Yeah, no, sorry, I get a bit nervous, so I don't say too much.
Well, hang on a minute. Now, Tom, you've got the best voice of the two of you. That's true. He's got a proper voice. So you're studying radio?
Yeah. Well, I'm on my 3rd year of the TV and radio course.
What do you want to do?
Well, I'm quite good at video editing, so I'm following that.
But hang on, video editing is not a massive part of radio.
Well,
that's me. That's the Will part of it.
Will likes radio. I don't mind radio, but
yes.
I got better marks in video editing and that, so that seems to be the way for now.
Will, what do you want to do?
I'm interested in studio managing, similar to what Ed does, I suppose.
No, he doesn't really. I mean, all he does on this show is make the tea and fanny about with the air conditioning. That's it. Can you make tea and do aircon?
We see him behind the glass on the faders, on the levels. He's controlling this on the disc.
I mean, if that's what you want to believe, Will, then then I wish you the very best of luck. Well, I hope it works out for you, man. We'll find out if there's any young people listening.
All right, thank you, Ian.
Nice one, man.
We'll listen in. Thank you, man. Cheers.
Cheers, bye-bye. Jessica's not young, are you, Jessica?
When I were a lad.
When I were a lad. He had a proper voice, that Tom, didn't he?
He did. He had a great voice for radio. And the bit I liked the best was when he said, well, I don't mind radio. I don't mind it. Don't mind radio. It's all right. Sorry.
Tom sounded like, is it John Walters?
No, well, do you know who I thought of? I thought of Stuart McConey.
Okay. Hey, here's a funny thing, Jessica. There's on Radio 4, there's a quiz. I think it's called the Round Britain quiz, right? And it's a really tough quiz. Really, really, really tough quiz. It's on 2:00 on a Wednesday afternoon or something.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. And they have teams from regions around the country. I don't know if it's north and south or if it's cities and things. I don't know. But anyway, let's assume it was north and south. And so they said, right, coming up, we've got the team from the south, we've got Steve Smith and Sandra Wilson. Hello, Steve. Hello, Sandra. Great to have you here. And now the team from the north, it's Amanda Jackson and Stuart McConey. And I'm thinking, well, that's a coincidence. But then it was actually Stuart McConey on there. And it wasn't. This is about 3 weeks ago. I meant to mention this ages ago. And it wasn't like a celebrity special. He was on there as an actual punter. And a part of me thought that was, that was cheating a little bit.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you did, you did Celebrity Come Down
Celebrity?
with me, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the celebrity programmes. I wouldn't even, saying that, who's the, Bill, do you know?
Oh.
Bill, Bailey. Bill Buckley. Bill Buckley, who used to present on LBC.
Yeah, he was that black guy that presented there for years, didn't he?
I can't remember how, but we used to joke that Bill Buckley was black. Well remembered. Fair play.
There was a song about him as well at one point.
Bill, do you know how much you mean to me? He was on Come Dine With Me, but he was on the civilian one.
That's what I was going to say. He was on the regular, just the normal kind of
like punters.
one.
But I don't know. It feels to me unfair that Stuart McConey, who broadcasts every day, was allowed to go on a civilian quiz. A, because he'd feel more comfortable, and B, because he was doing a civilian out of a gig.
I know what you're saying. I don't think it's that Tom's fault, though, that other guy. I thought they were kind of keen, weren't they? It was sweet. I think it's good they're listening to you, because, you're doing a kind of unique radio, aren't you? And I'm sure they'll be nicking ideas from you, like you nicked ideas from other people.
What? Well, I'm sure they were. They didn't sound that keen, if I'm completely honest.
No, they didn't really.
I thought they sounded really not that bothered.
Yeah. Do you know what I was calling you about? I've actually got a proper purpose for it.
Hey, nice one. This is the first in about 15 years, Jessica. Wonderful.
Do you remember? I don't know. You won't remember, but last time, a couple of times ago when we spoke, I said that I'd stop listening to Nick Abbott because I found him a bit boring.
Then I heard you on Nick Abbott the other night.
Did you? Do you know what?
Thank you.
What I thought.
Thank you.
I gave him a call because it just happened to sort of.
Hello, Jessica. He calls you Jessica.
Yeah, he does.
Jessica.
I don't even know why. I just let him, really.
Yeah, you should destroy him for that. Yes, no, listen, I cover all the radio frequencies.
No,
I often have 3 or 4 radios going on at one time so I can hear everything. Nothing gets past me, Jessica.
Well, no, I did. I wanted to call Nick, and it was fine. And we talked about Trump, and he accepted that he's obsessed, and that it's just, but it was fine. But afterwards, I thought, I will call Iain Lee and tell him that I called.
You don't listen. You don't have to let me know that you're seeing other radio presenters. Honestly, it's fine.
I don't need to let you know. But do you know what? That's not what I was actually going to say.
Oh,
It wasn't about Nick Abbott. No, that was That was just warming up. After I called Nick Abbott, for some reason I was listening to Nick Ferrari on Monday morning.
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what? I'll call Nick Ferrari because that would be even better to say that I've been able to call Nick Ferrari, who I never listened to. I've got no interest in. You know, I think he's very good at what he does, but it's not my thing.
Did you tweet me this the other day?
I might have done.
Do you know how to construct a written sentence in English?
Do you know what? I'm really bad at tweeting, and it's mostly I kind of mostly tweet stuff and delete it.
Because I had a tweet from someone telling me they'd phoned Nick, then they'd phoned the other Nick, but it didn't make any sense. I didn't know who it was from. It wasn't grammatically correct. I didn't know what the hell it was about. I thought it was. I genuinely thought it. How can I phrase this politely? Okay. Here's the polite version. I thought it was from a simpleton.
Well, do you know what? That's probably why I deleted it. What I was trying to say to you was, I'm going to call you up and tell you that I spoke to Nick Abbott, but before I've had a chance to do that, I've bettered it, and I've gone, straight for Nick Ferrari.
Well, yes, you say bettered it. You should try phoning out Paul Ross, who does the breakfast show here.
No, I couldn't do that. I don't know. I don't mind Paul Ross, though. He seems very nice.
Paul Ross is, it has to be said, right, and I don't get to catch a lot of his shows because I'm normally asleep, but I caught a bit of it today. Paul Ross, it turns out, I don't know him particularly well, I've only met him 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Is an absolute gentleman, and I'm not going to go into detail, but he knows that I've been having a little bit of trouble recently.
Yeah.
And he has sent me some private messages and offered me a great deal of support that was not asked for, was unnecessary for him to offer, but was warmly received and put a smile on my face a couple of times. So I've got all the time in the world for Mr. Paul Ross now.
Yeah. I think I've heard the show maybe a couple of times. He comes across as a really nice bloke. I think probably he's shown you quite a lot of empathy, and it's very nice of him.
Terrible taste in clothes. I'm not going to lie about that. Awful taste in clothes.
Yeah, and I suppose that he lives in the shadow of Jonathan, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Jonathan is supremely talented. But I saw Paul Ross on one of the Celebrity University Challenges, and he just blew people out of the water.
Because he was a TV producer before he produced The Word.
I know. No, but what I'm saying is that he went on University Challenge, and even Jeremy Paxman was like, okay, fair enough. That's a really good answer.
He's a bright lad, and he's a gentleman, but he can't dress for toffee. No. Thank you, Jessica.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 0344 499 1000. Who have we got? We've got John, then we've got Adam, and then it could be you, dear listener. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000. John!
Is that the Barry Gibb special?
I've got the spread in the Sun. It's in loads of the papers. But it's got all these, little highlighted bits. I just want to be remembered as one of the Bee Gees. My wife and I had a cuddle in Doctor Who's TARDIS. I never saw Michael Jackson acting badly with my kids. So in that case, Jackson couldn't have been a paedophile.
It's amazing. I saw a bit of Barry Gibb online when I was reading around the papers today. Obviously, I didn't realise he was everywhere. But I do agree with what you said about Barry, actually. But I saw him on... he did an online thing a couple of months ago where he played a couple of tracks.
Yes.
And did a live interview. Because I think he's just produced a CD or something.
Yeah.
And I came away thinking, he seems like a bit of a changed man. You're not going to believe this. He seemed quite humble, Ian.
What? WTF?
Humble.
Humble Gibb?
Yeah, well, exactly. And he seemed to have a bit of a sense of humour. I didn't dream this, I don't think, but it was interesting, certainly interesting to see. And also I wanted to say that I'm not the biggest Bee Gee fan, but I've got... remember in the old days when we used to buy CDs?
Yes.
And this one, can you believe it? I actually had to get it as an import. And it's called Bee Gees First. And I don't know if you know
it's not that awful one that they recorded when they were kids, is it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
This is one. It's got a psychedelic cover on it.
Oh, is it the one that's got? Hang on, let me play you a genuinely brilliant Bee Gees song. Hang on, Bee Gees. Oh, what's the one where he goes?
Introduce it, Craze Finton Kirk.
No, the one where he goes. Ha! Do you know that one?
Oh, no, that's not the one I was going to mention. A couple on this.
Oh, go on. What are you going to mention?
I was going to mention Craze Finton Kirk.
Right.
It's a short. It's a bit like, I mean, it's the kind of thing McCartney could have knocked off for the White Album, but with that sort of, but with a strange Bee Gees air to it. That's definitely worth listening to.
Hang on, this is it. Listen to this. This is a bit. It goes, ha! Listen to this. This is great. This is great. Proper psychedelic, 1968, Bee Gees on LSD. This is the Bee Gees. That's a song, John.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, that's a great song.
Is that early, Bee Gees?
1968. It's called Idea. I'm going to tweet the link to the video, because the video is pretty psychedelic as well.
The one I like on this CD is called. There's one called Turn of the Century. I mean, it's one of these ones. It's so bad that it's good. I mean, I cannot quote the lyrics to you, but they're rather amusing when you listen to them, because they just describe what happens at the turn of the century.
They did an album. Famously, did an album that was going to be their. Everybody after Sgt. Pepper, everybody wanted to do their Sgt. Pepper, and the Bee Gees Sgt. Pepper, apart from the soundtrack to the movie, the Sgt. Pepper movie, which was awful. They did an album called Odessa, and I think it sold something like 8 copies because it was just too pretentious and too weighed down by their own portent.
I don't want to be too esoteric about this, my friend, but the thing is, they had some wonderful orchestrations in the 60s, music, probably written by people who knew how to write for orchestra. Yeah. And this CD's full of them.
Bee Gees first. Let's have a little look. Bee Gees first. Hang on a second. Let me see. It's the third studio album by the Bee Gees, 1967. Oh, that might be. That might be all right.
What a groovy cover, man!
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, man. That is some cover. It's got the mining song on.
It's got the mining song.
And To Love Somebody. To love somebody.
That's an example of a nicely orchestrated track.
To love somebody.
I don't know. You see, maybe it's difficult for me because, without giving too much away, I was alive at that time this stuff came out.
Oh.
I was very, very, very young. You understand?
Gosh, what happened to your voice then? That got
emotional.
It got emotional. How young were you? Were you
very young?
Hmm?
I was a child.
Yeah, okay. So not old enough to indulge in the 60s.
No, I wasn't. No,
Good.
I definitely wasn't indulging.
I don't think anybody indulged in, and by indulge I mean drugs and sex. I think there were probably about 75 people in the whole of Britain in 1967 that were taking drugs and having promiscuous sex. I think it's been exaggerated massively.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I was when the 60s ended, I would have been 15 or 16.
Okay.
And the thing is, so I was around when all the stuff was happening, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, they say if you can remember the 60s, you weren't really there.
But you know what, man? It just seemed like normal day-to-day life then, man.
Thanks for calling, man. Thank you, John. I enjoyed that. The thing about the 60s, the swinging 60s, right? Most people still had outside toilets. People didn't have telephones in their houses. And there was only one colour television per street. So, oh yeah, man, the drugs, man, and the sex, man, and the records, man, and the pill, and all. No, it was only literally. It couldn't have been more than 100 people that were indulging in the sex and the drugs. It couldn't have been. I want to read a real book about 1967, not about Carnaby Street. Carnaby Street, if you've ever been there now, it's a horrible tourist trap. But at the time, it was the place to go, apparently. But it's a tiny, tiny street. You're telling me there was one tiny street in the whole of England that made England swing like a pendulum do? What song is that? There's a song, isn't it? England swing like a pendulum do. Bobbies on bicycles 2x2. What song is that? There's a song, isn't it? Do you know what that song is, Adam?
No, I've no idea.
England swing like a pendulum do. Bobbies on bicycles 2x2. It's a song. It's a proper song by William P. Don't anybody tell me. It is by he's in the Pea Picker of Piccadilly. His name is I can't think. William something. So it's 3 names. He's got 3 names. 2 names. He's got 2. I don't know. Go on, Adam. What you got for us?
So you were just talking about people under 30 that listen, and I do. So I thought I'd give you a ring.
Why do you listen?
Well, initially, to be fair, it was to fall asleep to on a night, because I like to listen to something, but I don't necessarily want to watch it, and I don't like to listen to music.
Yeah.
But as I started listening, I don't know, it's quite interesting. You talk about some interesting stuff. And yeah, I guess I listen in the car and stuff now as well, so yeah.
It does, how old are you then, Adam?
I'm 27, 28 in a month.
Okay. Well, so you're getting on a little bit then.
A little bit.
You're getting a little bit. Have you started making that noise when you sit down?
No, my knees do click when I stand up, though, which is worrying.
I made my youngest laugh so much today, right? Because he picked up from school and we had to go to the shops, and he was bouncing all over the place. And I said, "Will you come here and hold my hand?" And he grabbed my finger, and he pulled my finger. And it clicked, and we both felt it. We both felt this big. Hang on, it was that, and we both just burst into laughter at my finger. It was a ridiculous thing, but we were in hysterics at that. And then I got to pull it again, and I farted, and that really was.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, I know. I do still do that to the boys. Isn't that terrible? Hey, boys, can one of you pull my finger, please? And the youngest always does it. I'm glad that we've got younger people, Adam, like you, calling in and listening, because it is perceived as an older person's format, And I started doing this when I was in my late 20s, so. But I realise I'm an old fart now. But I'm glad that we get younger people calling in, because it means we're doing our job properly. And also, speech radio doesn't have to be stuffy and dull and boring.
No, I think that's the thing. Yeah.
You can have a laugh. Who'd have thought you could have a laugh on the radio? It's nuts, isn't it?
To be honest, probably about 8-9 months ago, I did have the thought of, what is the point in the radio? Does anyone really listen to it? And then I suppose as I did get a little bit older, because I'm not sure that teenagers will be listening at least. Well, I don't know. Maybe
there's a few. We have a few listening. It's not massive, but we do have a few kind of hardcore teenagers listening with their radios turned down or their headphones in.
Yeah, it's impressive, though.
Yeah, it's working. We're doing our thing. Nice, listen, Adam, nice one. Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate that. 0344 499 1000. I told you when I got the job at the other place years ago, my first sort of proper radio job after Milton Keynes and XFM. And my boss, David Lloyd, I said, why have you got me in? He said, well, our audience comprises of elderly Jewish women, and they are dying. And our audience is literally dying off, and we want someone to come and attract a younger crowd. And they got me, and fair play, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. There's an incredible line in this Bee Gees thing. He talks about how he's afraid of dying, right, and he won't do anything that could kill him. He told Pierce, I avoid boiling water to this day, after he was scarred by water when he was a kid. I avoid fire too. My sister caught fire once. And it doesn't say any more. I avoid fire. My sister caught fire once. What the heck? I'm a safety... Oh, if I go near boiling water, something happens and I have to back off. It isn't just age. Anything can happen. So I don't do things like go on roller coasters. Well, don't go on roller coasters whilst boiling water, for goodness sakes. We'll talk. Well, the whole show's going to be a Bee Gees special. Bee Gees, miserable songs, and anything else you wish to call in about. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
England swings like a pendulum do. Bobby's on bicycles 2x2. Westminster Abbey, the Tower of Big Ben, the rosy red cheeks of the little children. Now if you huff and puff and you finally save enough money up to take your family on a trip across the sea, take the tip before you take your trip. Let me tell you where to go. Go to England, oh, England swings like a pendulum do. Bobby's on bicycles 2x2. Westminster Abbey, the Tower of Big Ben, the rosy red cheeks of the little children. Your mama's old pajamas and your papa's mustache, falling off the windowsill, frolic in the grass, trying to mock the way they talk fun, but all in vain. Gaping at the dapper men with derby hats and canes. In England swings like a pendulum do. Bobby's on bicycles 2x2. Westminster Abbey, the Tower of Big Ben, the rosy red cheeks of the little children. England swings like a pendulum do. Bobby's on bicycles 2x2. Westminster Abbey, the Tower of Big
England
Ben,
swings like a pendulum do. That song, more than any other, I think, captures what England must have been like in the 60s. I bet it was rubbish. I bet the 60s were actually rubbish and boring and miserable and slow. And that song by Roger Miller, it captures the mood perfectly. That's what the psychedelic Britain was like. That's what swinging London was like. Boring. Boring. You could only hear the good music on pirate radio stations, and they were called pirate radio stations because they were on boats out in the middle of the sea, in international waters, and you had these crappy little transistor radios, so you couldn't hear it properly. And if it was cloudy or the wind was blowing in the wrong direction, you couldn't hear the radio station. And you couldn't afford to buy the records. You could afford maybe a single a month. That's how swinging it was. And you had to watch it all in glorious black and white on your TV, if you were lucky enough to have a TV. Oh, man. Literally, no more than 100 people were dropping acid and having sex. No more than 100. I bet it was absolutely awful. Then you'd have to nip out to the lavvy outside. Nah, mate, Not bothered. They didn't have showers. The best they had was those rubber things that you put on the end of the tap and hold over your head. If they'd been invented then. I don't even know when they were invented. They might not have even had those in the 60s. Oh, yeah, man, if I had a time machine, I'd go back to the 60s. I wouldn't. It'll be filthy. You know, most people didn't have toilet paper. They'd have ripped up, but they couldn't afford it. They'd have ripped up bits of newspaper. Nah. Next time you watch the rock and roll years or the swinging 60s or a documentary about the Beatles, just remember they were using bits of newspaper to wipe their backsides. Outrageous. You'd have a bath once a week, tops, and it would be a tin bath, and it would be in front of the fire, and you'd all have to use the same water. No deodorant. Didn't have shampoos. Filthy 60s. And not the good filthy, the bad filthy. So no, I wouldn't want to go back to the 1960s. Thank you very much. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, Malcolm.
Good evening, sir.
What have you got?
It's a pleasure to speak to you.
It's the pleasure is all mine, sir.
And I can agree with everything that you just said. I started work in 1961.
Yeah.
And talking about outside facilities, yes.
Yeah.
Bath nights, yes. Everything that you just said.
And you'd all use the same bath water. I mean, hang on, I'm old enough. At least one, possibly two of my great-grandmothers had an outside toilet, so I used to be terrified of the outside toilet. And also, we didn't have a tin bath. We had a bathroom, but on Sunday, bath night, we would take it in turns to have a bath. And I was the youngest, so I was the fourth person to use the bath water. After my dad, my mum and my sister. Oh, God! That was in the 70s! It's disgusting.
It's, I always wonder about when you hear all these things about the swinging 60s, like, where was I? I know where I was, but it was passed me by. The reason I'm ringing you up, Ian, was to say thank you for your show.
Oh, thank you.
I am obviously at the other end of the demographics that you've been looking for, but I find your programme especially a breath of fresh air.
Oh, well, hey, listen, man, I'm always kinder to people called Malcolm, because that was my dear departed dad's name, so instantly you've got me on side. But I don't, I don't want anyone to think that talking about people under 30 earlier on, that, listen, every listener is welcome. Every listener is part of this show, and everybody, we don't turn anybody away. Can I ask, Malcolm, because you sound like a sensible gentleman.
Thank you.
Why do you listen to this rubbish?
I find it completely entertaining. And to my mind, and I hope you take this in the way that it's intended.
I'm going to.
It's a breath of fresh air. I will always remember your Christmas Eve show, where I found the idea of people at the door scenario was absolutely brilliant idea.
Oh,
that was a brilliant concept.
Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, isn't it funny the silly little things that we toss out and throw away that stick with people? Yeah, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? Wasn't that absolutely ridiculous? Oh, well, thank you for picking up on that, Malcolm. That's very kind of you.
And the other thing I enjoyed last week or the week before was when you were doing the county.
Oh yeah, a lot of people said they enjoyed the county show.
That got. I have. Obviously, I listened to a lot of the later. Last couple of hours in bed.
Yeah.
But I was literally at 1:45 rolling with laughter when people were ringing up.
Last 30 minutes got very nasty, didn't it?
Nuking Salisbury and things like that. I mean,
here's the thing, right? I've had a few people say, how long did it take you to come up with that? I literally made that up. I had nothing for that show, and I literally, as the microphone went live, you can hear me making it up on the spot. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't happen. But, that was a very funny show, and I'm pleased that a lot of people enjoyed that one.
Yeah. The reason I rang was in response to your request earlier about bleak songs.
Oh, yeah. We're compiling a list of bleak songs. We've got the I Don't Like Mondays, which is about a shooting in a school. We've got the Bee Gees, the mining disaster. What have you got for us, Malcolm?
Now, this is old, but it's classic, and it's by one of my favourite composers, who was Cole Porter.
Oh, yes.
And it's Miss Otis Regrets.
Oh, no, I don't know that one.
And it happens to be, according to Andrew Lloyd Webber, who let slip a conversation he was having with the Queen, the Queen's second favourite song of all time.
Oh, really?
It's about a lady who shoots her lover, and then in the last refrain, the mob take her from the jail and lynch her on a tree. And the moment before she died, she lifted up her lovely head and cried, "Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today."
Oy, what a line.
And apparently, if you're interested, the reason that he wrote it, and I'm a Cole Porter geek, well, there has to be somebody left alive.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about Cole Porter, so I'm bowing down to your superior knowledge.
Well, I mean, the thing about Cole Porter was he was banned a lot for some of the songs that he wrote.
A bit raunchy.
But then he was different to all the other composers of the day, the likes of Irving Berlin and George Gershwin, who were his main competitors.
You've popped three songs into my head. Strange Fruit by, well, I know Nina Simone did it. I don't know if she wrote it, but that's about hanging black people in the south or southern states. But slightly less miserable and graphic than that. Delilah by Tom Jones.
Yes.
It's about spousal abuse. He goes and stabs her. And you'll know this, Malcolm, because you're a man of intellect. What was the follow-up single to Delilah?
Green Grass of Home.
About a fella being hanged.
Where he's waiting to be executed.
Yeah, isn't that's a brilliant bit of marketing, to have a song where he murders a woman, next song he's being taken off to be hanged.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Malcolm, listen, it's nice to talk to you. I've got to go because I've got to go to a break, but
I appreciate that.
Call again.
Again, thank you for the service that you provide.
Well,
excellent broadcasting.
I'm blushing. I'm going to cut you off, and I'm going to remind everybody I do get paid for this. I'm not doing it out of the goodness of my heart. I do get paid for it. But thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000, Mark, and then Chris, and then it could be you, dear listener.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Good evening, Mark.
Evening, Ian.
How you doing, fella?
Yeah, very well. Yourself?
Up and down. A little bit I'm a little bit away with the fairies this evening, Mark.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Could be worse.
Well, you were just talking about stenches and history and the basically how smelly history used to be.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think people kind of get how bad it was. I mean, people were in cities using urine to tan leather, and well, I think it gets worse than that if we actually sort of look into it.
Well, hang on. How do you know all this stuff? Are you A, very, very old, or are you B, an historian of filth?
Well, I studied history, and I did my dissertation on the history of cleanliness.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you are a historian of filth then?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I guess I've kind of moved away from that since.
What eras were you looking at? What periods?
The Victorian period was kind of my.
Is that when they were still chucking poo out the window?
I mean, they were trying to get better, but you had people, whose daily job was to basically pick up horse filth from the streets. You had night soil, which was human filth.
Night soil?
Yeah, I mean that's what they would call it. It was a nice term.
What, that was chucked out the window, or they were just doing it out in the street?
Yeah, I mean basically it would be out in the window and into rivers, streams. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of the Great Stink, which was I think it was the 1860s, but basically they were. They were debating the kind of issue of sewers and everything, and the stench from the River Thames became so vile that they had to lime all the curtains in the Houses of Parliament, and it it kind of brought everything to a head, and they thought, you know what, we probably should sort this out.
We've got to stop people putting their plops in the river.
Exactly, and then that's where Sir Joseph Bazalgette came in and built the sewer system as we know it now.
Have you been down the sewer system?
Not personally, no.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. And for the last, 10 years or so, I've tried to get down there, and every now and then, I don't know if it's Thames Water or whoever, I think it's Thames, I don't know who it is. Every now and then, the company that runs it kind of sort of goes, oh yeah, well maybe we can sort that out. And then they won't, because I want to go down there and see the fatbergs.
I mean, why wait for their permission? You know, it's not that hard to open a manhole. Just, when you get out of work tonight, just grab a torch and go for it.
I wonder what's to stop people doing that, actually.
Well, there can't be that much, can there?
Can't be that much. So, and you'll see you'll see poo and sanitary products and all kinds of bits and pieces floating down there.
I imagine so, yeah.
Why did you choose that particular branch of history to specialise in? Because I've not heard of anyone doing that before, Mark.
Well, I mean, I was studying sort of cultural history, and I was interested in the notion of cleanliness being a kind of factor in you being a civilised individual.
Yes.
And interestingly, for all of the other religions, apart from Christianity, cleanliness was an issue in a part of your religion. So you would wash your hands before you prayed,
right.
And the only one that wasn't was Christianity. But there was still this notion that cleanliness was next to godliness. And I was just interested in where the concept came about and how it became so important in society.
But it's got to be only in the last 35 years that we've started smelling nice.
Yeah, I mean,
that
one of
reason.
the big criticisms of Orwell's Road to Wigan Pier was his criticism of the poor being, their stench.
Yeah.
It was one of the sort of things that was sort of highlighted and criticised, but there was a truth to it, I guess.
Mark, it's fascinating. What grade did you get?
I got a 2-1.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, that's fine. Then I feel I've talked to someone who has knowledge, and if it'd been a Desmond, I would have had to have backed away. And what? How is that? How is that degree? How does that serve you? What do you do now?
I've got my own sort of business, sort of landlording and property stuff. So it's not particularly related, but
it's not. None of it ever is. It never is it? I wonder if there was you could find out what people studied for their degree and then what their job is, and see the correlation between subjects studied and careers pursued. I bet it will be very, very slim.
Yeah, I mean, but that said, this week I cleaned at least 2 toilets. So yeah, it's related.
You win some, you lose some. Mark, thank you for that. Fascinating stuff. 0344 499 1000. It really is a show where we can talk about anything. Who'd have thought we'd have got a history of dirt expert on the night? I tell you, man, the 60s, and I'm going to say most of the 70s, were filthy. Absolutely filthy and stinky. Really, really stinky. While he was talking, I was reminded of something I was going to say. What was it? I don't know. Chris!
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Chris.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, Chris.
Yes, I'm listening to you now. You completely throw me.
Oh.
Right, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to say.
Oh.
Right,
do you want me to come back to you in a minute?
Pardon? Vespers or, right, I'm completely thrown out because I was listening too much and I completely thrown.
Do you want me to take another call and come back to you?
If you could, please.
All right, Chris, you stay there. Don't listen to this call, though, Chris. This call is none of your business, Chris. Good evening, Eben.
Good evening, Ian.
How are you this evening, Eben?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
How is the food delivery service?
Yeah, all right.
I was thinking of you yesterday because we ordered a meal to be delivered via your food delivery company. And I was going to give them a tip, and then I remembered you, and I decided not to give them a tip.
Better now they've signed me up to Perkbox, and I can get discounts to loads of different places.
Hey, like nightclubs and stuff?
No, like I can get 15% off of B&O.
Oh. Off of B&O?
Yeah, the headphones and...
Oh, yeah, but I bet they cost quite a lot of money, don't they?
Yeah, and I'm treating myself to a pair.
Mate, you're supposed to be saving up for a car!
No, I do like sound.
Yeah, I like sound. Don't wear the headphones when you're on the bike, though.
No.
I hate cyclists wearing headphones. No. That's not allowed.
No, I wouldn't after some of the near-miss experiences I had on Friday.
Oh, did you nearly get mowed down?
Yeah, a car literally touched my knee. Coming past me.
Now, using the doll, show me where the car touched you. It was that must have been a little bit of. I'm guessing a little bit of wee came out.
That shook me up a little bit.
Yeah, it would do.
And something else embarrassing happened to me that day too.
Uh-oh.
I really need the toilet, but I was on a delivery. I was cycling back, rushing back to the delivery point, and I didn't make it in time. And I did a little...
Yeah, you don't need to finish that.
leakage.
Yeah. Very... Can I just say... Because my team are... I think they're recreating what you did by the looks of it. But very, very brave of a grown young man to admit what you've just admitted. Because we've all been there, Eben. We've all been there. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Yes, a little bit of embarrassment and shame, of course. But we've all been there. We've all done it. We've all done it.
But the more embarrassing thing is...
You didn't poo yourself as well, did you?
Yeah.
Sorry?
But, yes. But the more embarrassing thing was I clogged up the McDonald's toilets. And there were other people in the toilets too.
I really don't know where to take this call. I mean... Talk about the 60s stinking. I mean, it sounds like Eben stinks. Well, Eben, as I've famously told many times before, I once did a poo in a bed in a hotel in Pakistan. So there is a bit of shame and a bit of embarrassment in what we've both done, Eben. But you show me someone who hasn't pooed themselves. Admittedly, most of them did it when they were babies, but still, if they haven't done it in their adult life, they will do when they get older. I guarantee it, Eben.
Yeah.
And the lesson from that is always wear a nappy. That's what they do. It's like spacemen, isn't it? Maybe Deliveroo people need to wear nappies.
And also, I was actually phoning
Don't tell me it gets worse.
No, it's something totally different.
Thank God for that!
Phoning in about... I booked tickets for Through the Rabbit Hole for the 19th of February.
Oh, yeah?
And me and my dad is potentially coming with me.
Uh-oh.
It depends because he's got a date now.
Flipping it. This is like... You've given us, in the last 3 minutes, Eben... Oh, Catherine's typed on my screen, deliver poo. That's grow up, mate. You've given us, in the last 3 minutes, more than EastEnders gives us in a month. So your dad... get your dad, Nick, to bring her down. Just bring her along down the rabbit hole. We won't embarrass them.
Okay.
Do you like her?
I've only seen her for 15 minutes. And that was quite awkward because it was on my way back. I opened my door on a Deliveroo shift and I didn't realise my dad was meeting up with her.
It wasn't the one where you'd had an accident, was it?
No, thankfully.
Okay. Whew. Wow. Literally every bodily function has been discussed in this call. Anyone else feel uncomfortable? Well, Eben, she'd be more than welcome, although it might be a bit weird. Thank you, mate, and I appreciate your honesty as always. Oh, I'm speechless. Hey, I tell you what I've been, what I was listening to in the car. So I've signed up to the Audible thing, right? Because it's free for the first month, right? And you can, and you get 1 free credit. And then here's a tip for you guys. If you go, because you sign up for the first month, get the free credits, you get a free audiobook, and then you cancel, right? Yeah, I know exactly that. But if you go to cancel it, they say, oh, don't go. Here, have another free audiobook. I was like, all right. And then I saw you could return the audio. So I returned my first audiobook. I got another free audiobook. I'm caning it. Anyway, I was driving in tonight listening to the new Alan Partridge book. Oh, it's very, very funny. I don't get why some people don't like Alan Partridge. I think it's wonderful. And I got the first Alan Partridge book for... No, we can make that work, don't worry. You go ahead, because it's on my iPod. You go ahead. I got the first Alan Partridge book on CD. Why would you read an Alan Partridge book when he's reading it for you? And, it's just so funny. He starts off by reading the cover and then acknowledgements. The author would not like to acknowledge anybody at this present time. Oh, it made me laugh. And of course he's a crap local radio presenter, right? And he's doing a phone-in. And of course he's doing a crap local radio phone-in. But I'm listening to it thinking, that's a really good phone-in. He's doing... It's so good. What would you make the 8th deadly sin? It's genius. It's genius. And then he talks about how by the end of the show, it's just builders phoning up being sexist and misogynistic about women and stuff. It's so funny. Honestly, and it's 6 hours long. I've done 45 minutes of it so far, and I was in the car in hysterics. I cannot recommend it enough. Get it. I'm sure it's on CD. Get it on wherever you get it. Do get it, because it's so funny. 03444991000. Chris, come to you after this.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
We'll get back to the Barry Gibb piece in a minute, because I do want to know. My wife and I had a cuddle in Doctor Who's TARDIS. What the hell is going on there? Let's see if Chris is a bit more focused. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Ian.
Are you more focused?
Well, you shouldn't be telling things about what you and your wife done.
No, Barry Gibb.
Oh, well, Gary Big... sorry, put my teeth in, actually. Barry Gibb...
Put his teeth in.
Okay. The last one left, actually, isn't he?
He is the last one left.
Yes.
One more.
I used to like... you can sort of be, I used to like the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't like all that disco stuff.
Well, I know. I know.
Hello?
When he was down the sort of disco in the 70s.
Yeah.
Pulling, well, I know, I used to have, like, I know.
This is you more focused, is it, Chris?
Pardon?
This is you more focused.
What do you mean?
Do you remember when we spoke a few minutes ago and you weren't focused?
Yes, go on.
This is, I'm just checking that you are focused now.
Yes, go on.
That's full stop.
Full stop. No, I see, I've lost,
Yeah. What did you call him for?
I do apologise to your listeners and to
Don't apologise to those losers.
I don't say that.
They should apologise to me.
Yeah.
Being a bunch of sad sack losers.
I was going to... see, I lose track of my mind. I do apologise. I'm
Me
sorry.
too, man. I'm travelling through time and
I
space.
rang up for a reason.
Yes.
And see, you sidetracked me with the bloody Bee Gees.
I didn't... No.
Yes, you did.
No.
It's your fault.
No.
Yes, it is.
You are... No.
No.
Well, can you try and remember what you called in for?
I've completely forgotten now. What was I going to say?
0344 499 1000. If you've got any idea what Chris was calling in for, I'll take calls straight to air for the next few minutes. If anyone knows what Chris was calling in for.
Ian, I'm...
Well, someone might call in and be able...
I was going to say about some of the music you were saying.
Yes.
Being pretentious about music.
Yes.
So, how pretentious are you about music then?
Me?
Yes.
Not at all.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Not at all.
We won't play bloody ping pong. I'm sorry.
What?
Ping pong.
By Stereolab?
Sorry?
What are you talking about?
Well, you said about playing music.
If anyone knows what Chris is talking about, 0344 499 1000.
Go on. I'm going to go at me now then.
Well, a little bit, because you're rambling. I'm not... Listen, I like the Monkees. I've suffered... It's coming up to... It's close to 30 years of abuse for liking a fictional television pop group. So I'm not pretentious. I'm not pretentious in the slightest about music.
Right. So, right, because you got a different thing about music. Okay. So when was the first thing?
Hang on 1 second, caller. Do you know what Chris is talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Go on.
So I think he was talking about who's next on the Operation U-Tree list.
Okay, thanks very much for calling.
Charming.
No, ignore that.
Charming.
It's absolutely charming. That's outrageous behaviour.
That's all I was going to say. What was the first... like we talk about not records, because what was the first record you put on your thing on there?
What was the first record I put on my thing on there?
Yes. That sounded very sort of terrible. You know,
are you all right, Chris? Because you sound very...
your first... Okay, all right then. You talking about the record shops. My first record shop was Rainbow's Records in Pontypridd. And
there used where I live now, in Windsor, there used to be a great record shop there.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt you, sorry.
No, Chris, what? Chris, are you all right? You're rambling more than usual.
What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is, normally you're quite coherent. Tonight you're all over the shop.
Oi.
Well, no, it's not an oi. I'm pointing it out.
Go on then.
There's my case in point.
No, I was just going to say, because you're talking about how much you like to listen to songs and records in the past. My first record shop was Rainbow's Records. And
hang on a second. Line one, do you know what Chris is talking about?
He sounds like me when I'm trying to get rid of somebody I don't want to talk to.
Oh, charming!
I'm an old man, and I don't.
Well, no, Dennis, don't take the mickey out of him. I'm sorry, Chris. I don't know what's going on. The callers are being a little bit mean this evening.
I can dig it, Ian.
Yeah.
I was just going to say,
yes.
Well, I wouldn't say a lad. The chap, I used to go up to Rainbow's Records on a Saturday morning with my pocket money.
Yep.
Buy
records,
a single or an album.
Yes.
In Rainbow's Records.
Pontypridd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rainbow's
Records in Pontypridd.
His name was Leighton, and he passed away. He did. couple of weeks ago.
That's a sad story.
And a gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah. He used to sell, and he tried. Yeah. So his name was Leighton Rainbows Records in Pontypridd.
Yeah. Well, that's a great memory, Chris. Thank you for that.
Really, honestly, Ian.
Yep.
It was. They are times gone by, really.
Aren't they?
We do things that
differently now.
We just download them now, don't we?
Yeah, on the phone. Put it on the phone. Listen to it on the phone. Good one.
What? Like somebody like you?
What? I don't think I've got any songs on my phone, actually.
Pardon?
Well, thanks for calling, Chris.
Cheers, Ian.
Bye.
All right, have a good evening.
Yep, I will do now. Okay, thank you. That was strange. For the first time in the evening, we have no phone calls lined up. So would you like to call in? As you've heard, anything goes. It really is, a drop-in centre for the lost, the lonely and the befuddled. 0344 499 1000. We'll get to the bottom of the Bee Gees in a minute.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
That was strange, wasn't it? 0344 499 1000. We've compiled the top 5 Bee Gees songs. I started a joke. I just got to get a message to you. Night Fever. I really, all that disco rubbish. You Win Again. Yeah, that was a song. That was a classic tune. And the Mining song. Then that got us on to compiling a list of miserable songs. I Don't Like Mondays, the Bee Gees Mining song. Miss Otis Regrets, Delilah, The Green Green Grass of Home, and Strange Fruit. Strange Fruit is cheating slightly because we're asking for pop songs. But. Barry Gibb. Finally, nearly 2 hours after I started this, I get round to reading the story. Barry Gibb has suffered his fair share of heartache over the years. The Bee Gees legend has outlived all 3 of his brothers, and last year lost his beloved 95-year-old mother, Barbara. Now Barry is so haunted by their deaths, he is afraid to take the slightest risk, frightened even of boiling water. As the Bee Gees, Barry and twins Morris and Robin became one of the world's biggest bands, selling more than 220 million records. Flippin' heck. But now the 70-year-old, who released his second solo album last year, is on the brink of hanging up his microphone after losing his hearing. He reflects on his 5 decades in pop on tomorrow night's Piers Morgan's Life Stories on ITV. On the first show of the new series, Barry struggles to discuss how Jimmy Savile introduced... Now then, young Barry Gibb, I have got a beautiful young lady for you. Losing his... He's had a tragic life. It's almost like he's signed a pact with the devil to be given all the riches and the wealth and the success that one could possibly wish for. But to be cursed by tragedy, drug addiction, and death. Losing his 3 brothers, Morris, Robin, and Andy, has, understandably, had a profound effect on Barry. Youngest brother Andy, a minor star in his own right, but not part of the band, died aged 30 in 1988 after years of drug abuse. He goes on and on. I'm a safety-first type of person. I'm a safety-first type of person. I don't drive fast. I don't know why I'm still here, but I'm very nervous about anything that could be fatal. That's all down to an accident. Barry became a shoulder for Michael Jackson to cry on during his 2005 sex abuse trial. Where are we with Michael Jackson and the sex abuse? Where are we with that? Is that ever satisfactorily been explained? There'll be Michael Jackson fans who go, no. New Alan, we can't get through to you. Catherine's trying to call you back, but we can't get through to you. So could you call us again, please? New Alan, that's New Alan, not Old Alan. Where are we with Jackson? Because the fans love him. But people say he was a pedo. I don't know where we are with that. I lost a job because I was hosting a show where someone was rude about Michael Jackson. I didn't clear it up quick enough. They were already close friends, with Barry saying Jacko was the only artist who truly understood him. He said, I never saw any aspect of his life that was disturbing. I only believe someone is guilty when a cop finds them guilty. I never saw any... Whoa. I never saw any of that behaviour with my kids, and they used to go to the bathroom together, pee together, but nothing like that. Sorry? Your kids peed with Michael Jackson? Your kids peed with the adult Michael Jackson? WTF? Because that's not weird, is it? And also, paedophiles don't tend to rape someone when they've only got like 30 seconds and dad's waiting outside. But that's weird. I'm always acutely aware when you're at parties and things, or out with kids and stuff, and you take one of your kids to the toilet, and suddenly there are 6 kids along with you. I'm always acutely aware of just making sure everybody is off doing their thing on their own, but I am there. And right, do your trousers up. I'm gonna quickly just put your trousers up. Right, go and wash your hands. Go. Okay, all doors open, all times. Good evening, Alan.
Good evening, Ian. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm going to call you. Can we? Yeah, keep that up there. New Alan.
Oh, New Alan, that's right. Yeah.
New Alan. A lot of accents we're getting this evening. What you got for us, New Alan?
Right. Well, I listen to you every night when I'm coming home from work. I'm a bus driver.
Beautiful. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like one of you. You know, I'm a DJ as well.
Yeah.
So you could, you know, and you're always talking about problems. I'm always having people come and talk to me about their problems.
When you're bus driving or when you're DJing?
When I'm bus driving.
Right. Yeah. There is no finer way to travel than on a public bus. I love it.
No.
I love it.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
Are you a single decker or double decker?
I drive both. I'm a big bus person.
Because I'm even at the age of 43, Alan. If I'm on a double decker bus and there's room at the front, at the top, I will sit at the front of the top and pretend I'm driving. I'll do it. Honestly, I swear to God, I do it, and it's brilliant in London. I'm sitting there pretending I'm driving.
Cool, man. That is cool. Yeah.
That's what it's all about. But people come and offload on you, no pun intended, while you're driving the bus, do they?
Yeah, they do. They come and upload every night, different things. I mean, I've had weddings postponed because they've been going out with somebody else behind the back. I've got everything, mate, what comes to me.
Flipping heck. Hey, could you do this, Alan? I once got a bus in North London, and the young gentleman bus driver, he was rolling a joint while he was driving. Can you do that?
Oh, my... No.
Good. He was rolling a joint. He had it in front. I couldn't believe it. The barefaced cheek.
Anyway, what I phoned you up for,
yes,
Ian,
sir.
last night, I was listening to you last night, Ian,
yep.
And you played Dolly Parton and Ganga Style.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. And I tried to have a look on the internet last night to see if I could get it, so I could play it at my gigs, and I couldn't find it.
Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter, yeah.
Who are you on Twitter?
Big Al.
Big Al?
Big Al, yeah.
Alan Chalmers?
Big Alan.
Right, what I'm going to do, stay there, don't go anywhere. No, that's not you.
No, that's not me, I'm a bus driver.
Yeah, so hang on, what's your handle then, you muppet?
Oh... I've got plenty of handles.
What are you called on Twitter?
I'm on Facebook, sorry.
For crying out loud, how could you get the two mixed up?
Well, you never know what happens.
Well, I don't... Well, hang on, who are you on Facebook?
Alan Webb.
It's not quite as impressive as... Are you Alan with the 2 W's?
Yeah, I'm Alan with 1W and 2Bs.
That's what I meant. And 2 L's, I meant.
And 2 L's, yeah.
Are you wearing glasses? Are you wearing glasses in your picture?
No, I've got an Honda Goldwing in my picture.
You got a what?
Honda Goldwing.
What does that mean?
It's a motorbike.
Oh, flipping it. Hang on a minute. 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 Hang on. There are like literally 10,000 Alan Webbs.
You can't miss mine. It's got a lovely, nice 1984 Goldwing sitting on it.
But I'd have to spend the rest of the show scrolling through.
Me.
I'm looking for you, you muppet.
I know. What can I do?
You can get on Twitter and I'll tweet it to you.
I'll have to get an account set up and then you'll able to tweet it to me then.
Thanks for calling, Big Al. He was jolly, wasn't he? I'm not going to spend the rest of the show scrolling through Facebook looking for Alan Webbs just so I can send him a link. Seems a little bit presumptuous. A lot of accents tonight, proper accents, almost like made-up accents. Michael used to call me up and ask me to sing down the phone. He'd call and say, "Can you sing How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? Just sing." And I would sing with him. Fresh sex abuse allegations, fresh sex abuse allegations came much closer to home when the name of Barry's good friend, Sir Cliff Richard of Richardsville, was dragged through the mud. Barry said, "It's scary what's been going on. Can you imagine someone saying that about you when it might have been 30 years ago and you can't prove they were wrong or fight it?" Well, you can prove they were wrong, as Cliff Richard did, and you can fight it. If you're innocent, you can fight it. It's wrong to destroy someone's life with accusations if it's not conclusive. That's the great danger in our culture today. Cliff is one of my closest friends, and I'm astounded by it. I never saw it with Michael or Cliff. I think it's appalling. It's not for gossip or rumours. And it gets a bit boring. I liked to smoke grass. I like to smoke a little bit of grass. I used to really enjoy that, and it brings out the creativity in me. But because of Linda, his wife, if pills came into my life, she would put them down the toilet. It was a cycle of, "I've got pills! No, you don't!" She kept me on that path because those things are pretty attractive when you're younger. And basically, that whole article proves to me that Barry Gibb's quite boring. It's just quite boring. Not because of the drugs thing. I don't mean to end on the drugs thing, and say, well, you don't take drugs, you're boring. Don't mean that at all. But those are the best bits from an hour-long television show. And he's just boring. If I was Piers Morgan, I'd play the interview with Clive Anderson and say, "What the hell were you doing there, you humourless toad?" Or I'd say to him, "You'll always be Les Tosseur to me," and see if he got up and walked again. Imagine if he did. Oh, the TARDIS bit is boring. Shamed DJ Jimmy Savile introduced the singer to his wife Linda Gray when she was a 17-year-old guest hostess on Top of the Pops in September 1967. Barry recalls of visiting the BBC studios. "We just had a cuddle in Doctor Who's TARDIS." That's it. I wonder if it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And I'm not talking about the TARDIS. Dana!
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Dana. Croaky Dana.
Oh, yeah, I'm still ill.
Yeah.
It's got me.
Oh, I've got some phlegm in my ear.
Rabbit Hole was wonderful. Loved it.
Thank you very much indeed. By the way, guys, go onto iTunes, type in Iain Lee, Rabbit Hole, a brand new show that me and Catherine have done. Download it. We're in number 10 in the comedy charts. And if
Is it number 10 now?
Number 10 in the comedy charts. And if you leave reviews and ratings, that helps us get up the charts a little bit. So reviews and ratings and subscribe from as many accounts as you can. Thank you, guys. We're going to release a new episode every Thursday.
Oh, I was going to ask you when the next one was.
Every Thursday. Week. Thursday is going to be treat day, guys.
Oh, it's going to be but it was so good. I was on the train actually listening to it, and you know how that
Now, I'm a bit unwell, as you can hear, and I occasionally cough away. But you know that feeling when you're on the train and you're coughing and you can see people looking at you?
Yes.
They think you maybe got Ebola or something. But then I'm starting to snigger and laugh and trying to suppress the laughter because I was listening to Rab the Rabbit Hole. And again, they're looking. And it's almost like I was really enjoying the fact that I was listening to something so funny while they're just sort of looking all miserable and boring. But I also wanted to just scream out loud and say, look, have a listen to this.
Oh, scream! No, do scream out loud. Do scream out loud about that.
I will scream out loud next time and spread the gospel and the good word of the rabbit hole.
Exactly.
But it was so funny, and because I was sitting there, you know, trying not to cough, and B, trying not to look too much of a prune while I was sniggering away to myself. But it was wonderful. But the other thing I wanted to ask, you know the sports special on Monday?
Yes.
Was it Monday? I think it was Monday.
Oh, who knows? Yeah, Monday. It was Monday, yes.
I'm not into sport either. I don't understand. But I have to say it was really good. And what was it? Is it what's her name? Baroness
Tanny Gray Thompson. That's always forget the Thompson.
Lovely.
Wasn't she delightful? Yeah, really good. Very funny.
Because, you know, I know who she is, and I sort of, you know, I've seen interviews with her, but when you hear, you know, someone who's titled and all that, you do sort of think, but she came across as just such a nice, genuine, nice person, and you want to look up more, and I quite like to be stuck in a lift with her.
Yeah,
you know?
she was. But the thing is, I thought they were all interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Kath played an absolute blinder getting all of them, and you know, they've. My attitude has shifted ever so slightly in how I will talk about sport in the future as a direct result of that show. So that's something.
But the things that are classed as sport, some of it is so bizarre. Like, I don't understand how darts is a sport.
Well, I know, but they tried to make bridge a sport recently, didn't they? And it's all to do with funding. That's what it's to do with. It's all to do. If it's classed as a sport, then it gets different funding.
Well, I'm waiting for international tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
I think that's the next big thing.
Yeah,
maybe that's where my millions will be made.
Dana, listen, I have to move on because we're coming to the news. Thank you. Kids don't play tiddlywinks anymore. That was, what was that rubbish game? Jacks. Remember Jacks? You had to, flip it. Rubbish. We've got 2 hours out of Barry Gibb. Another hour to go, dear listener. Another hour to go. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. You know the rules by now. You can call in about absolutely anything you want. We've talked about Bee Gees, miserable songs. I'll have a look and find some more bits and pieces to get from the newspapers, but you can call in about anything. Let us know how your day has gone, or do you pretend to drive the bus when you're sat at the top of the top deck? 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. just waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
I don't get the Beyonce picture. Have you seen the? It's weird, isn't it? And I like Beyonce. I do think she's a brilliant pop singer. I've seen her in concert maybe 3 times. A little bit blue. It's a little bit. There's a lot of 12-year-old girls there screaming, and it's basically a sex show she's putting on. It's quite raunchy. I mean, it's fair enough. It's a thing. But I think she's a strong, independent woman. And thank you, Stuart. You seen this email? Thank you. And this you can email me if you go to the talkradio.co.uk. Thank you, Stuart. And I wasn't going to bring this up, but I will because I had another email to my personal email account. I hate and clip this. Start recording now and give this to James tomorrow when he's doing Julia's show. And record. Here's an email I received from Stuart. Thank you, Stuart. Very touching. I hate and despise bullies. It is heartbreaking with the handover with James Whale, the amount of bullying you have to put up with, Iain Lee. It is just disgusting. Stuart from London. Well, thank you, Stuart. Those words touch me very deeply and they're appreciated. Right, stop recording there. And then I'm going to get you another one to record. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Here we go. And start recording now. You recording? Here's a second email I received from Claire. Hi, Iain. I've just written a complaint to Talk Radio, as I am fed up of hearing James Whale. You could stop it there and it'll be fine. And his constant digs at you, especially on air. I've been listening since the station started last year, and I've enjoyed most shows. It was your show that attracted me to listen to Talk Radio initially. I am in disbelief that the management continue to allow the unprofessionalism James Whale keeps displaying to you. It's putting me off listening to the station live. I hope you get it sorted, as it can't be nice having to come into work and be treated like this each day. You have a very supportive group of listeners, and I wanted you to know that we wish we could do something to help. Claire. Thank you, Claire. Well, you have, because that is being played to James Whale now. So I don't get why Beyonce's done these pictures. Right. It's weird. It's really weird. So she's having a baby with Jay-Z. Twins. She's having twins with Jay-Z, the rap singer. So she's done a picture, and also she's meant to be a really good Christian girl, and it's all pole dancing in PVC and leather and stuff like that. Right. So this picture, let me try and describe this to you. It looks like, the grocers' barrows in markets and the fake grass they have. It's on that. It's on the same fake grass that grocers' barrows have. Don't see it so much these days, but it's that. And then behind her are lots of flowers and stuff. Roses, peonies, other flowers. I don't know what flowers they are, right? And she's kneeling in front of them, naked, except for she's got, first of all, her underwear doesn't match. She's got blue, silky knickers on, and then a sort of mauve bra, and she's pregnant, and then a naff, it's like net curtain over her head. It is, isn't it? I was going to say a veil, but that's not a veil. It's done in the style of a veil, not that veil, proper veil, Christian veil, the veil, You can see her face. You can see who it is. But it looks like cheap lime green net curtain. It's really unclassy. Hey guys, who am I to judge what a mum-to-be does? Safe space and all of that. Do whatever you want. I remember, for some reason I was remembering today when I accused some women who looked like prostitutes of looking like prostitutes, and all hell broke loose. So I'm not, I just think, well, I think she's better than this. It looks trashy, and I've always thought of her as a vaguely classy lady. And there ain't no class. There ain't no class in this picture. Preggers Beyonce baby joy. Beyonce stunned fans yesterday by revealing she and husband Jay-Z are expecting twins. The pop superstar, 35, Instagrammed a picture of herself in underwear, holding a bump. She posted a joint message with rapper Jay, 47. Do you know what his real name is? Sean Carter. It's always fun to know rap stars' real names. Next to the snap, which showed her kneeling wearing a green veil. Oh, by the way, remember the other day we were talking about Syllable and Brains, the Scottish rappers who pretended to be American. I read the book about it, and the book is wonderful. And loads of you mentioned the documentary. Well, we've been in touch with I've forgotten your name, I apologise, but someone kind of put us in touch with the director of the documentary. Hopefully, she's coming on next week. She sent me the film, so I'm halfway through it. It's wonderful. And she's going to come on next week. And Kath had a blinding idea. We've had someone get in touch about the Regent Street Cinema. Which now it turns out I've walked past it like a million times, and now I can't walk past it without going, oh, flipping it, there's a cinema here. And I'd never noticed it until this guy got in touch with us, and he keeps saying, do you want to come down and show a film for your listeners? Do you want to come down and have a film ring there and show a film? And I keep going, yeah, I'd like to, but I don't know what we'd show, really. I'm not sure what we'd show. Well, we're going to speak to this director next week and see if she'd be up for a showing this one evening. It'll be before the show. So we'd show the film and maybe have a little Skype chat with the rappers or with the lady that made it, and then we come and do the radio show. I think that could work. If you'd be up for that, you want to buy some tickets, guys? You up for that? The message read, we would like to share our love and happiness. We have been blessed 2 times over. We are incredibly grateful that our family... He liked it and he put a ring on it. We are incredibly grateful that our family will be growing by 2, and we thank you for your well wishes, the Carters. Beyonce's mum, Tina Knowles, 63, replied, wow, I don't have to keep the secret anymore. Twin blessings. Flippin' heck. The showbiz power couple who earned £84 million from 2015 to 2016. £84 million. Here's something. Then they have a little bit from Dr. Carol Cooper, the Sun Doctor. And I did not know this. Twins are more likely if you fall pregnant from 35 to 40. Is that true? Is that a real thing? If you're between 35 and 40, you're more likely to have twins? No. No, really? No. 0344 499 1000. Leon, Rashid, stay there. Come to you after this.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Good evening, Leon.
You're not going to win. You're not going to win.
Sorry?
I can sit here all night. Hello?
Hello? Who's not going to win what?
Sorry, and I've got myself in a bit of a predicament here tonight.
What's going on, man?
Well, I just sat here listening to you on the radio, and
yes.
Out the corner of my eyes, we've got like a goldfish bowl,
yes.
A couple of tetras in there, and 2 fancy goldfish.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a bit of issue with them over the last week.
Are they bullying you?
They keep sort of staring at me when I come in the room, so tonight I thought I'll have it out.
Yeah.
I've got right close to the glass, so I've kind of got locked into a stare-off contest.
With a fish?
With a fish, 3 tetras, and I don't know what the third one is, but it's got a blue stripe. But as I'm locked in, I can't get on the internet because I don't know... This is either going to see out their entire lifespan, or they've got a certain duration. I didn't know if you had Google there and you could find out what kind of...
Yeah. So how long can a fish stay...
It's a fancy goldfish.
How long can... Hang on a minute. Look,
It's already been 25 minutes.
Okay, don't worry. Don't panic. Don't panic. We're gonna talk you through this. How long can a fancy goldfish have a stare?
You and your mates, or you and your mates.
I wouldn't antagonise it, Leon.
You sure?
Yeah, I would have thought because that might
Okay.
How long do goldfish?
It's a friend. No, it's a friend.
Here we go.
He's going to help.
It says it can go on for up to 15 hours, mate.
15 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, crikey.
There is no shame in bailing out. We won't tell anybody.
No.
We won't tell anybody.
No, I'm not going to step down.
15 hours is a long time, Leon.
What's the lifespan?
18 years.
Okay, so it's seen 15 hours and 18 years. You couldn't have a word of him for me, could you?
I tell you, Rashid?
Yes, mate.
Can you talk to Leon's fish?
Yeah, I talk to his fish.
What's your fish called, Leon?
Sam.
Sam?
Yeah. I'll just hand him over.
Sam.
Okay.
Go on, Rashid.
Hello. What are you doing? What are you doing giving it all that walk to Leon?
Well, he's fat. He sits on the sofa all day watching TV.
Well, what else you want him to do? Watching you?
Well, he should go out for a walk. He's got a bloody dog. He should take the dog for a walk, for starters.
He feeds you. He feeds you.
No.
He watches that long string of feces coming out the side of your body.
No, he watches Babe Station. Hang on, just give me the phone back here. Hang on.
What is this? Leon, you've embarrassed yourself there, mate.
Okay.
You can't watch Babe Station. You can't watch any form of pornography with pets in the room. That is completely inappropriate.
Right, okay. This has gone horrifically bad. I'm going to have to bail out, guys, okay?
Thanks for calling, Leon.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. That was uncomfortable. And I'll be honest, very, very weird. Evening, Rashid. What you got for us?
Ian, do you believe in this seasonal, I think it's called FAD in the winter, where...
Seasonal affective disorder. Yeah, sure, why not?
Well, I think I've lost my mojo, honestly, the last few months.
Yeah.
I've lost my mojo. I've never felt a bit like this, but I'm just dying for some sunshine. I feel like I'm lacking some sunshine. There's some other things going on as well. I'm getting made redundant.
Nuts.
Yeah. But I've got mixed emotions about that because I'm fed up. I'm lonely. I'm fed up of the night shift.
Yeah.
Driving. It's all getting...
The night shift.
You know what I mean?
The night shift is that'll mess up your head big time.
But it messes up the family because when I'm coming home, Mrs. is going out.
Yeah.
And then on the weekend, you're totally wasted, and you wake up. I mean to wake up on Saturday early, but I always sleep till about 12, 1 o'clock, and then half the day is gone, and then it takes me about an hour or so to get when I'm up to get awake, and then you feel groggy and snappy, and you feel I'm a people person, and I just feel antisocial, So I am changing. I'm going to diversify. But the other thing that's getting me a bit down is that I'm overthinking things, and also at the age of 47, I still don't know what I want to do and what I should do with the rest of my days,
Yeah, I can identify with that. Do you know what? It sounds like you're having a wee bit of a midlife crisis, Rashid.
Yes, Ian, thank you. Thank you. I knew you would understand.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Well, you start questioning what you're going to do with the rest of your life, and what if any impact are you going to, what are you going to leave behind?
Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling all that. I haven't got a mortgage. I haven't got a house. I haven't got a decent car. I work and I work and I work. I pay my way. Yeah, us workers, we're the only ones really that pay all our taxes 100% because we're on PAYE. But
you've got no choice but to pay your tax, Rashid. If you were a banker or the CEO of something or Google, then you wouldn't have to pay anything.
I know, Ian. But the thing is, apart from the lorry driving, I've always been like a driver since I left school. But I've done youth work, and I've started to look online and apply for certain jobs as a residential support worker. But I'm doubting my ability as well. Can I do it? Will I be able to cope? with all that stuff. So I'm just at a bit of a funny junction at the moment. But,
Kath has just typed on my screen, he'd be good.
Yeah, I'd be good at that.
Look, you probably would, because you're funny, you're approachable, you've got a bit of common sense, you've got a bit of life, you've got experience, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Hey, Ian, I'm enjoying the show a lot. Listen, I spoke to, I went on this Wakey app, and guess who I spoke to?
Go on.
Jess from New York.
Did you? The same person we spoke to?
Yeah, and I was speaking to her. And because I was the one who initiated the conversation, and she came on, I was like, hello, and you know I've always got a bit of a bad line. And then I said to her, the name rang a bell, and then I was like, oh, she goes, yeah, I've got lots of people calling me from England, and I was on the radio last night, and I was like, yes, I listened to that conversation.
How funny, look, she'll think she's famous now, isn't that funny?
And I said, you were eating your dinner.
I've not dared go on there since last night. I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared of it.
I'm looking at like a bit of a CB because I was a bit of a CB guy back in the day. But the other thing, Ian, I've listened to Alan Partridge's book and I haven't stopped laughing.
Nomad.
Yeah. He's walking for his father.
Yeah, it's funny. Honestly, don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything. It is funny, man. Proper laugh out loud in the car. It's funny. Really is funny. Good evening, John.
Hello.
Hey, John, do you want to turn your radio off?
Yeah. Oh, is it me? Yes, it is me. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, it does. Yeah. So where's the low volume? They got to me. Yeah, this one. Hello?
Hello, John. Are you on speakerphone?
No.
Okay. Because it sounds very echoey.
Yes, I'm in a building with 16 rooms all by myself.
You're in a building with 16 rooms all by yourself. Have you broken in?
Well, it's a long story, but yes, kind of.
Okay.
I didn't break in. I was I was escorted there.
You were what? Cottaged?
Escorted by some lawyers.
Right. So you're telling me that you're in a prison?
Hospital.
You're in a hospital?
Yeah.
That you were escorted into by some lawyers?
Yes.
And it's 16 rooms and they're all empty?
Yes.
Gosh, that sounds believable.
I know, it's fun. You just jump from one room to the other.
Yeah. So why were you escorted by some lawyers into an empty hospital?
Oh, she works as a lawyer at night. During the day, she's a prostitute. But that's okay.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
How do you think this call is going? How do you think this call is going on a scale of 1 to 10?
-6.
Really? You'd score it that highly?
Yeah.
I'd give it a 3.
Oh, that's close.
Not really.
Well.
On a scale of 1 to 10, so 1 would be the best and 10 would be the
No,
worst.
sorry, maybe I didn't make it clear. No, 1 would be the worst.
Oh.
And 10 would be the best.
Oh. Yeah.
So I would give it, just to reiterate, I would give it a 3. So 3 is pretty close to the worst.
Yeah. If I had a girlfriend, I'll be fine.
Well, what have you called in for, John?
I just wanted to know how to get back to Nick Ferrari before I drive myself mad with the switches.
You want to know how to get back to Nick Ferrari before you drive yourself mad with the switches?
Yeah, because, I bought this radio from Argos and the volume the up volume is on the down button and the down volume is on the... It's just mad.
You've gone up to a 5. You've gone up to a 5 with that. Just keep fiddling away, John. I know the Nick Ferrari listeners are not particularly bright, so it may... You've got about 6.5 hours.
I'll be calling back.
Don't bother. Thanks, John.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. Fair play. The Nick Ferrari listeners, they're not the brightest. They're not the brightest of the bunch, are they? So you can kind of understand that. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call, and you're more than welcome to. Now, there are, in the mail today, there are a thing about your stars, okay? But it's your stars in connection with your skin. Well, could the key to perfect skin lie in your star sign? I can't stop yawning. A glowing... I mean, this is bullshine of the highest order, but shall we read it? Yeah, sure, why not? A glowing, even-toned complexion. It's what we all aspire to. All of us. But while... Oh, it's for women. But while some women only need to glance at a pot of moisturiser to look radiant, many of us find it somewhat harder to achieve, no matter how religiously we cleanse and tone. At last, however, the mystery behind great skin has been solved. Apparently, it's all down to our star signs. According to astrologer Stella Hyde, the zodiac sign you were born under can result in very different grooming habits. Here she identifies the traits for each star sign and advises women how to tweak their regimes to achieve that true glow. Bonkers or eerily accurate? I can answer that. Bonkers. Read on to see if you recognise your own approach to beauty and what changes you should consider making. We'll read on after this break.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
So let's go through the star signs and find out what your skin is going to be like. Catherine, remind me what star sign you are. Leo. 0344 499 1000 if you want to play the star sign skin game. You are always camera ready. You're a drama queen who knows you owe it to your public to look amazing at all times. That means a well-honed beauty regime is needed. Not that Leos mind, of course, because, like every big cat, they just love to spend hours grooming. Luxury products appeal. In particular, anything containing crushed gems or flakes of gold. You get crushed gems in like moisturiser. You should, and this is good. Listen to this. This is what you should do. Stop being so heavy on the makeup. What looks good on stage can make you look like a clown in the street. Very true. And remember, you're not on show all the time. A day off the stage paint won't harm you. Let your skin have a rest. Just think, someone's got paid to write this twaddle. Someone's actually received a cheque for writing this complete and utter guff. I mean, star signs at the best of times are rubbish. But to tie it in with your skin? What the hell is that? Barry's on the line. Evening, Barry.
Hello, evening, Iain. I'm a first-time caller. Can I just say that as one of the older people, and which I enjoyed the show.
Thank you, Barry. That's very kind of you.
I'm really interested in tonight's show. I was like quite a lot of the stuff that you were talking about. Not particularly a big Bee Gees fan, but obviously it was the music of my time. I'm sort of 73, so
yes,
it dates me for my music, you know, the sort of 50s, so it was all the rock and roll stuff, and then the early 60s.
Do you remember, Barry?
Sorry?
Do you remember? Because whenever I read a rock biography, and I'm reading Robbie Robertson from the band, right? And every rock biography, the artist talks about the first time they heard either Little Richard, Chuck Berry, or Elvis Presley, and then it went from How Much Is That Doggy in the Window to Tutti Frutti or something. Was that the same for you? Did you suddenly just hear like Elvis and think, flipping heck, what's this?
Yeah, you're quite right, Ian. I'll give you a story about that. But, you know, first of all, can I say, like, with the 50s, we were the sort of the first teenagers, and I think, you know, your summary of the 60s and what it was all about, in actual fact, you know, the end of the 50s, you know, a lot of good clothes around, a lot of good music around, and it wasn't really a very materialistic time.
No.
So what we had, we thought was really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And we broke away from this thing about our fathers, and we sort of set our own styles and our own music. Now, on Presley, interesting story about this, which I spoke quite a lot about. The first time I heard Presley, and I think a lot of my generation say this,
yes,
didn't sort of know whether the guy was black, sounded like that.
Yeah.
Everything was much slower, so it was quite a while before you saw this guy's face.
Yeah.
The music, the first one that I can remember was Heartbreak Hotel, and it was like just something totally different.
That's the one everyone says, that when they heard Heartbreak Hotel, it, you know, their minds were blown by it. They didn't know that there could be so much excitement in one piece of music.
No, you're right, Ian. I mean, you know your stuff. You sort of talk about all, you know, that dog in the window and all that stuff, and there were a lot of crooners around. And then, I left school in 1958, so it was a very influential time for me. And this music was like we'd never heard. I mean, it was completely new. And when you saw the guy, I mean, it just matched up with how he sounded.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, I mean, they were good times, Ian. But you're quite right, mate. There was a lot of stuff around that wasn't very good at all. But for me, a sort of working-class lad, living in a council house, lucky, really, you know, had a really good family life.
Yeah.
But the stuff that was around, because we didn't know anything else, and what we were getting, I mean, sort of black and white television, okay, but then we started to get ITV, so we get these other channels, and there's a lot of stuff we were seeing at the cinema, you know, and they were actually very good times.
Did you go, Barry? Maybe you didn't. Did you go to any concerts? Did you go and see Buddy Holly or Little Richard when they came over and toured?
No, that's my biggest regret.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a lot of them since. I've seen Dylan and I saw the Eagles. So I know they were all later. So I've seen a lot of acts since. But at the time, again, sort of, you didn't get around too much to see stuff like that. But what I did see was the 50s rock and roll packages. You know, the Billy Furies, Eden Kanes, and the Marty Wiles in particular.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were quite something, but the thing that really set it off for me with all of this stuff was you've obviously heard of a program called Oh Boy.
Yeah, of course, Jack Good.
Jack Good,
yeah.
Exactly. And that was another big thing. It was sort of, you went from the other one that was on BBC, 6-5 Special, to this sort of Oh Boy, and it was non-stop, one after the other, you know, like real pulsating stuff. And you had some real characters on there. There's a guy called Dickie Pride, the Sheik of Shake, they called him.
Oh, I don't know him. That sounds good.
He died in his early days, but he was a big mate of Billy Furies. I think they spent a lot of time smoking the old weed, you know.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of stuff going on. And the thing with us, we had so much music. I found myself in my 40s. I say I'm 73 now, so I'm getting on a bit. I found myself in the 40s suddenly discovering bands that were around in the 60s
that you'd missed.
I didn't really know very much about.
Yeah. They'd gone past you while you were looking at something else.
Because exactly. So much stuff going on. Could I suggest somebody for?
Please
do. Love listening to your show. You know, it sort of sets my night off.
Oh, nice one, mate. Thank you, Barry. Go on. Who do you suggest?
Yeah, what I would suggest, and my last job, I won't sort of go into too many details. I've done quite a lot of stuff, but one of the places I worked at was a big conference centre. So we had a lot of the guys from the 60s who'd had their day. I'm talking in the 90s now. So they were coming to our place. So we were seeing them, you know, a long, long time after. And one guy in particular was one of the founder members of the Searchers, a guy called Mike Pender.
Mike Pender. Now, I'm aware of that name. Now, remind me what the Searchers. The Searchers were they Sugar and Spice?
They did Sugar and Spice.
And Needles and Pins.
Your love away. Needles and Pins was probably the one.
Needles and Pins.
I think that was originally done by Jackie D. Shannon. It was at the time, Ian, as you know, our singers were covering everything, weren't they?
Well, the joy was, bands would hear a song and they'd go and record it, and then suddenly you'd have 2 or 3 or even 4 versions of the same song competing to get up the charts, and it was just whichever one got out first.
That's right, yeah. But this guy, this Mike Pender, I got to talk to him after the show he come. Now, he split from the Searchers. And there's a guy called John McNally, and they were best mates. They started the band off together, and they had one hell of a row.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Frank Field. He wrote a book with the Searchers, but he come in later, so it took a while before he was accepted. So Mike Pender then tried to start up another Searchers, and there was a big legal thing went on, and I was talking, I think, to one of his relatives, Mike Pender's relatives, and it said it got really nasty.
Yeah.
Plus, also in this book by Frank Field, he covered details of it. Now, Mike Pender, I think, would be a really interesting guest for you because...
Now, hang on a minute. Is Mike Pender dead?
No.
Mike... I'm looking now. Mike Pender's Searchers... Oh, I see. No, Mike Pender Jr. is on the drums. All right, fine.
Right. Now, Mike Pender, I'm actually taking my granddaughter, who's 16, because she's... I shouldn't be doing this, really, should I? But they've got onto so much stuff from me, you know, with...
Do it! I am taking, in May, my 7-year-old and my 5-year-old to see the Beach Boys at the Royal Albert Hall.
Oh,
and that's the joy of... We're really lucky, Barry, that some of the great musical acts, and I think that the great musical acts, I'm talking about the 50s, the 60s and the early 70s, they're still around. A lot of them are still around, and they won't be around in 5 years' time. And we are blessed, Barry, that you can take your grandkids and I can take my kids to go and see the people that we grew up listening to, or our heroes, before they pass away.
That's right.
You're doing a good thing.
I took my grandson a few years back to see Don McLean. American Pie is the big anthem, isn't it?
Yeah, how did he get on with that? Because I would have found that a little bit dry, because his songs are quite long, Don McLean's.
Well, my grandson absolutely loves American Pie.
Yeah.
And he likes a couple of others. Castles in the Air, he particularly likes that. Now, they picked all this stuff up. I mean, and they've obviously gone on to listen to their own stuff, but they still love all of this stuff. So he's at school, my grandson, and so they show this iconic thing with Don McLean on one of the covers, with his thumb up and the American.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anybody know what this is all about? He said, yes, miss, I know what that's about.
Beautiful.
It's a cover from Don McLean, and she said, Zach, I'm really impressed. How do you know that? She said, well, he said, I'll tell you another thing. He said, my granddad took me to see him.
Beautiful. My boys now, their new question, because I play all different kinds of CDs in the car, and their new question now is, Daddy, is this the Zombies? Have you got the Zombies? Can we listen to the Zombies? They want to listen to the Zombies.
Oh, I tell you what, Ian, that is so good. I absolutely love that. And I love these parallels because I can relate to a lot of this stuff. And I tell you what, mate, you're doing a really good job
Barry,
with your kids.
Listen, call in again another night. We'll have another chat. It's nice to talk to you, man. Thank you.
I got a lot to tell you, Ian.
Cheers, Barry. we'll speak again soon. Thank you. But it's great that we, honestly, because the Beach Boys, how old's Mike Love? 75? Technically, is it not the Beach Boys? There's only one original, and then there's one who... But. 75, not going to be around in 5 years' time doing the Beach Boys. You never know, actually. Who'd have thought they'd be doing it at the age of 75. But, I get the chance, one more chance, to take my kids to go and see. They've seen the Monkees, they've seen the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, Bare Naked Ladies. They'll be around for quite a bit longer, another 20 years of that. And you get to share all that stuff with them. How cool is that? I see Bob Dylan's doing some shows. I'm kind of tempted to buy a ticket and go and see Dylan so I can say I've been to see Dylan. I don't like Dylan, and it will be appalling. It'll probably be terrible, but I'm kind of tempted. 0344 499 1000. Last 15 minutes of the show.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hey, you know who's coming on the show soon? Steve Guttenberg. Yeah! Mahoney from the Police Academy films. He's coming on the show. It's coming on soon. He's been tweeting me. Coming on. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call for the last 11 minutes of the show before the two mics start shouting at each other. Tom, I'll come to you in a second. Let's go to John. Yes, John.
Oh, John, so quick, yeah. Oh, okay, good. Oh, that's how it works.
How? John.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
John, have you worked out how to turn the radio off yet?
Not yet. I'm finding it difficult.
Yeah.
It's got DAB, and there's a song out called DAB, so I don't know.
It gets. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're still trying to find Nick Ferrari on there?
Yes, I'm trying to find Nick Ferrari and Nick some Maseratis, or Fords.
Nick's...
I'm a very, very lonely guy, so I need...
Why are you so lonely?
Someone says I'm uptight, but it's just not my fault. It's just the way things outside is cold.
Yeah, so you're lonely because it's cold outside?
Yes, I don't get to go to the clubs. I just listen to the adverts on the radio.
Okay. Would you like to go to the clubs?
No.
No?
I'd like to stay at home, switch off the gas, stay under the covers and
listen to the adverts on the radio?
Yeah, that, exactly, yeah.
You say you got your... Where did you say you got your DAB radio from?
Argos. Woolwich.
You live in Woolwich?
Yeah, I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that people still used Argos.
Well, that's the only place in Woolwich where you can get football. So
you bought a football there as well, did you?
I did, yes, I did, yes.
Yes. Football on a DAB radio. Anything else?
No, that was it. I bought laptops, TVs. Yeah, they were talking to me for a long time before I realised what was happening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did the DAB radio come with instructions?
It did, but it was in Chinese or Arabic. I don't know which one. Yeah, I think it was Arabic or it was upside down. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have difficulty in reading when I drink too much green tea, you see. So,
green tea?
Yeah. Chamomile tea.
Chamomile tea. What time is your prostitute lawyer coming back?
Midnight.
Midnight? Well, it's gone midnight. She's late.
Yeah, well, she's at work now. She works from 6 o'clock to midnight, and then she works other job in the day.
So so she's working the escorting job, sex worker this evening?
No, during the day.
So she's doing the legal business now?
Yes, exactly.
And then the sex working in the day?
In the day,
She must be exhausted.
Well, she's got everything that she needs, so
yeah.
I'm just supporting her.
Yeah. Well, John, I really wish you the best of luck in trying to find Nick Ferrari. Or you could try listening to Paul Ross tomorrow morning.
I'll be there.
Okay. Give Paul a call. He'd love to talk to you.
Who else do you suggest I'll give her a call?
Well, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, actually. This would be right for you. a good friend of mine, James Whale, is hosting the show.
Who's James Whale?
Do you remember the 80s?
No, I don't know what the 80s are.
You've heard of the 80s, though?
No, I mean, 70s.
They came after the 70s.
Oh, okay, so we're in 1770s, and then... The Sky's got the wrong dates, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
There's no... Calendars is only printing, and the only reliable clock is on Sky these days, or Virgin, or whatever they call it.
Well, you give James a call tomorrow morning at 10, John. He'd love to hear from you.
I say no more.
Say no more, John.
All right.
Aye. Tom! Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Oh, it's a bit crackly.
It's not that crackly. Well, it's not crackly at all, this end. I can hear a little faint cracklet. Give your phone a whack. It's been a really weird show tonight. All the accents. Tom? What the flipping heck is going on? Thomas! Tom! Tom, I can hear you! He was the one that wasn't that bothered about radio, wasn't he?
Hello?
Yes? Struth. Give me the strength.
No, it's...
What? Are you listening on the radio, you muppet?
I think my phone's playing up, you know.
Well, I can hear you, but you can't hear me on the phone. You can only hear me through the radio. Is that right?
I can hear a conversation on my line, but it's not the show.
Well, I don't know what to say about that.
Will you be able to ring me back?
Hang on, stay there. Does that work any better?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes. You're talking to the radio, though.
It's very delayed.
Because you're listening to the radio, not the phone.
My phone's playing up.
Dame Vera Lynn is set to be the first singer to have a new album at the age of 100. Vera Lynn.
Yeah, that's right, because it's all delayed. Like, all I can hear on my phone is, it sounds like bloody R2-D2 having a fit.
Yeah, well, because... I
don't know what's going on.
Ask me a question and I'll answer it in about 30 seconds. Vera Lynn 100 is out on March...
You're talking to the radio, though. It's still all playing up.
Yes. Is out on March the 17th, 3 days before her 100th birthday. Fittingly, it is on Decca Records, her label...
it is. This phone's buggered it.
My phone's playing up. Dame Vera Lynn.
Her label of nearly 80 years ago. But Dame Vera, Britain's wartime forces sweetheart, won't be celebrating with her favourite tipple. She said, "As I can't drink champagne now, it'll be lemonade with a dash of red wine." Oh, bless her. The newly recorded album...
Right, I've heard that bit. Right, so...
Who's going to ask me a question?
Basically, I only rung up for a bit of advice. I'm doing this all media do, but have you had any advice to sort of get into industry, you know? Because it's the only really hobby I've sort of had. I've never really had a proper hobby, and I don't mind this media stuff.
Well, my tip, Tom, is tomorrow morning you go straight down to Argos and you buy yourself a new phone. Okay? The newly recorded album has reorchestrated versions of her most beloved songs. Tenor Alfie Bohr joins her on We'll Meet Again. The RAF Squadron Airs feature on Yours as a tribute to her late...
Is this still on?
Yes. I've been to Dame Vera Lynn's house and interviewed her. I was supposed to prank her, but I couldn't.
Have you had any advice to sort of get into industry, because it's normally hobby I've thought about. I've never really had a proper hobby. I don't mind this media stuff. Well, my song is tomorrow morning, you go straight down to Lagos and you buy yourself a new phone.
Hey, I heard that.
You recorded album.
No, it's an iPhone 5S. This I think I've been ripped off. I think it's a connection problem or there's something wrong with the speaker. I'm not too sure.
Talk Radio.
We got entertainment and we're not afraid to use it. Talk Radio.